How often do you feel really, really happy versus miserable and grumpy, depressed, angry, upset, if you had to do a percentage? As a woman who regularly gets accused of being happy all the time, and when I say accused, people share with me, you can't be happy all the time, it's not possible. Too many things go on in the world that affect how you feel, whether it's the weather, the government, being sick, not having enough money, people treating you badly. How can you be happy all the time? Stop trying to pretend that you're happy all the time. Well, here's an interesting question. First of all, what if you could be happy all the time? What would you need to do? And if your happiness is determined by the weather, how much money you've got, the people in your life, what the government's doing, is it possible that external happiness is going on here? Other people are controlling how you feel. Yes, I'm often also accused of being a control freak, and as I share, I love that definition of me because control means that I'm in control of my life, not the weather, not the government, not other external situations. I want to control how I feel. And I love being a freak because freak makes me different to everybody else, because if I was normal, I wouldn't get called a freak. And I share that with you because why is it so bizarre to people or so unheard of that you could be happy all the time? And what if it was determined, or your happiness was determined by your ability to control the situation around you, so that regardless of what's going on, so whether it's hot or cold, whether people are nice or nasty, whether you're rich or poor, whether you are hungry or full, that you can still decide how you're going to feel. Isn't that the ultimate in maturity? I'm so mature. I don't want to be a child where I get upset because it's cold, or I get upset because I'm hungry, or I get upset because my clothes don't fit, or I get upset because somebody said something nasty to me. So then there's another great question to ask. What is your definition of happiness? And to me, and this is just a very personal thing, as this whole conversation is very personal, because I definitely have a reputation of being positive, happy, optimistic, and often accused of that not being possible. So I often get accused of being fake, not being genuine, not really, or pretending to be happy when I'm not. But I'm going to ask the question again. What if you could decide how you're going to feel and not let other people control you, not let other things control you? And I just think it's childish to be upset because it's raining. I can't control the weather. I think it's really crazy to let other people hurt your feelings, upset you, make you unhappy. That means if they wanted to make you unhappy and you are, that they won. And I just don't want that. So is it possible that your maturity, your character, your mental toughness is determined by how you handle things that aren't going your way? Because it's very easy to be happy when things are going great. And most people say that. I'm happier when it's sunny. I'm happier when I've got enough money. I'm happier when I'm in great shape. I'm happier when I've got great people in my life. But what if it was the opposite? What if you could be the person that regardless of the weather, of how hungry you are, how tired you are, how sick you are, how much money you've got, you could still be a happy, positive person? Now, there's another word for that in the Western world. It's called leadership. Because great leaders, the ones that have literally changed the world, is it possible that they are the ones that look at the bright side? They're optimistic or optimists rather than pessimists. They look for a solution rather than pointing out the challenge. Or if they point out the challenge, they only do that with a solution in mind. And how can you do that with a negative headspace? Now, do things upset me? Of course. Do I get angry about things? Of course. Do terrible things happen in the world? Of course. But when I feel anger coming on, when I feel frustration coming on, when I get annoyed about things, there's two things I do, of course. One is go punch the bag, kick the bag, sprint on the spot, get really puffed, lift something heavy so that I change my brain space. Because if I'm looking for a solution, panic is never part of the solution, frustration is never part of the solution, stress is definitely never part of the solution. You don't make good decisions when you're emotional or under stress, under pressure, when you don't feel good about yourself. So I don't like to make decisions, and I never do when I'm hungry or tired or somebody's tried to upset me. So what I do in that situation is I fix me, not the external situation. So I get puffed, I lift heavy. Cold water is a brilliant thing for me. I'll have an ice cold shower, or the worst case scenario, if I can't get naked, I'll get really cold water on my face to freshen me up. I will eat something healthy. I will go outside in the fresh air and sunshine. I love to punch and box the bag, kick the bag. And the reason for that, of course, is that stress is the human body's response to pressure. So your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up. Everything is designed to keep you alive, because if your body thinks you're going to die, stress, it will do everything to keep you alive. But the purpose of life is not just to exist, is it? It's to be happy. Isn't that the whole purpose of life? And I'll rephrase that. Why would you want to be unhappy? Why would you choose to be miserable? Why would you choose to let other people control you? So this is not a Rowi's happy, happy, rah, rah motivational chat. This is cold, hard facts. Does life suck sometimes? Of course. What can you do about it? And there's two things for me. Get puff, lift heavy, get rid of the stress. And then the decision I make is how I'm going to respond to that. How do I respond to horrible weather? So, for example, I spend a lot of time, invest a lot of time, energy, passion and enthusiasm into my garden. But often where I live, the wind will blow my garden to pieces. I go outside and it's destroyed. I have to go and spend hours and hours fixing it. Now, I could get angry about that, but that would be ridiculous because I can't control the weather. I can't stop the wind from blowing. So now I get to decide how I respond or react. I could get angry, I've got to do all this bloody hard work. Or isn't it awesome that I get to rearrange my garden, change things, make them different? Things will be better because now my wind engineering skills will be better because now I know how much I have to dig this into the ground so it doesn't blow away. I'm just using that as a simple personal example. If somebody's mean or nasty or horrible to me, I can't control that. That's them. But I'm thankful for it. And that's my big thing about being happy all the time. Be thankful for everything that happens, not just the happy things, not just the sunny days, not just the good times. Be thankful for the bad times, the tough times, the horrible weather. Because how would we get tougher and stronger and better and wiser if it was nice all the time? If people were nice all the time, if we didn't have any challenges? Is it possible that if everything was happy, happy, rah, rah all the time, that we would get soft? We wouldn't get mentally tough. And I don't want to be weak. How about you? So when things happen, I get puff, lift heavy, get rid of the stress out of my body so I can make better decisions. And then the decisions I make are determined by, can I change this? What can I do to make it different? If I can't change it, I accept it and move on. If I can change it, I do change it, which makes me feel really good because I'm doing something with the purpose. And when you go to definition of happiness, the psychologists, psychiatrists, the neuroscientists all suggest that they don't like to use the word happy because it's happy, happy, rah, rah, and can't be happy all the time. They use satisfied. I feel satisfied with my life. And the reason for that, of course, is that serotonin, the neurotransmitter in your brain that helps you feel satisfied with your life, that is the thing that most people are looking for. If you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist and you get onto some kind of antidepressant medication, that medication is supposed to sort out the serotonin levels in your body, in your gut, in your brain. Well, I want to do that for myself. I just certainly don't want to use a medication to do that. I want to feel satisfied and happy with my life. So when you get puffed and lift heavy, when you when you stress your body, you overcome the challenge because you change your brain chemistry, produces your body automatically, and your brain produces dopamine, serotonin. But the big one's brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is fertilizer for your brain. So that whatever challenge you're having to handle at the moment, if that happens again, you'll be better, you'll be stronger, you'll be tougher, you'll be wiser. Isn't that a reason to be thankful for tough times? Because how else will we get tougher, stronger, better and wiser? So without sounding like an old lady who's preaching, without sounding like what do I get called? Unrealistically happy. I like being unrealistically happy because if you think it's realistic to be unhappy, I think that's very sad. I don't want that in my life. So I get to decide how I feel. And if I get angry or if I get stressed or if I get annoyed, I go punch the bag, kick the bag, get puffed, lift heavy. Then I decide, how will this affect my life? Can I change it? No, accept it, move on. Can I change it? Yes, change it and become better, stronger, tougher, wiser, fitter, healthier because of it. So yes, I have a reputation of being happy. And this is just a very funny story. My very first car was a Datsun 120Y because I'm standing with my car collection behind me. And it was a $600 car. I treated it like a Lamborghini because my dream car was a white Lamborghini. my progression of cars was interesting. So I went from some very horrible, dumpy old, rusty old rust buckets, $600, $1,000, $1,500, those kinds of cars. I set a goal then. My first dream car was a Honda Prelude, and it was white, and I treated that like a white Lamborghini with Be Happy number plates. Then I progressed to some very cool cars. I had a Mercedes, and I had a Bentley, and I had a Ferrari, and then a white Lamborghini, a brand new one. I'm not sharing that to impress. I'm sharing that because so many people said to me, and there's two parts to this story. One is I often got accused, you're either a drug dealer or a prostitute to be able to drive a brand new white Lamborghini. That was hilarious and made me laugh. But one lady pointed out to me, I used to live on the Gold Coast in Australia, and she said, I watched your number plate change, or the number plate stayed the same, but the cars changed. So it went from a Honda Prelude to a Porsche to a Mercedes to a Ferrari to a Lamborghini. And she said, you must be really happy that now that you've got Be Happy on a Lamborghini. And I'm sharing that with you because I was no happier in I'm very happy having a Lamborghini because it was a goal that I achieved. But I was no happier in the Lamborghini than I was in the Datsun 120Y, because happiness is not determined by your car. It's not determined by wealth. And you only have to look at the wealthy people in the world. Most of them are bloody miserable because they're not healthy, fit and strong. They don't live a life of satisfaction. They're constantly chasing stuff. I want to live satisfied with my life. So whether I drive an old car or a new one, whether I have beautiful clothes or I'm working in the garden in my daggy old clothes, I love to eat great food, but I'm happy with baked beans on toast. I just want to be happy every day, and I do that on purpose. It doesn't fall out of the sky in a pretty pink box. Happiness is determined by me, and I am determined to be happy. How about you? Live your life to the max as a happy person. Live your life to the max. Check out my Be Happy number plates. They're bloody cool. Woohoo!